One of the things that makes the transition year out of residency or fellowship challenging isn't any single decision. It's how many decisions begin to show up at the same time. Income changes, student loan decisions become more immediate, taxes start to look way different, contracts, insurance, and then lifestyle, they all begin to take shape. I'm Josh Friedlander with Aeroscard, and what we often see is that these decisions are usually approached one at a time. Loans are handled separately from taxes, contracts are reviewed on their own, lifestyle changes are made based on what feels affordable in the moment. And individually, each of those decisions can make sense, but they don't operate independently. They're connected. A decision about your student loans can influence your tax strategy. Your tax strategy and planning affects your net income and cash flow. Your cash flow shapes your lifestyle decisions, housing, spending, saving. And those decisions, in turn, they'll influence how much flexibility you have in your finances going forward. So, when these areas are approached in isolation, it can lead to outcomes that were not necessarily intended. Not because any single decision was wrong, but because the interaction between them wasn't fully considered. Another layer to this is timing. During this transition, many of these decisions are happening within a very short window. At the same time, your income may be uneven across the year. You may still be finishing training, have a gap between roles, and then be stepping into a higher income, all within the same calendar year. That creates a period where both complexity and opportunity exist at the same time. But it can be difficult to recognize that when each decision is being handled separately. So the goal during this transition is not to optimize each decision on its own. It's to begin developing a coordinated approach, one where you can step back and understand, how do these pieces fit together? What decisions matter now? And which ones can be revisited over time? Because not everything needs to be solved immediately. In fact, trying to do that often leads to reactive decisions, but having a clear structure, one that connects income, loans, taxes, contracts, the lifestyle you're hoping to live, can make it much easier to move forward with intention. Over time, that coordination, it tends to matter more really than any single decision made early on. And for many dentists, physicians, this is also the point where having a structured way to think through these decisions or having someone help coordinate across them can be valuable. Not because every decision needs to be outsourced, but because these areas are often interconnected and in ways that aren't always obvious when viewed individually. This is exactly why we put this series together. Each of these videos focuses on one part of the transition, but the reality is they're all connected. If you worked through this series, you likely have a clearer sense of these decisions involved and how they begin to interact with one another. We've also outlined these areas in a simple transition year planning checklist that brings a lot of these elements and pieces into one central place. So if that would be helpful, you can find it in the description below. And if you'd like to follow along as we continue sharing insights around this transition year and other important planning considerations as you progress through your career in healthcare or dentistry, you're welcome to subscribe here as well.